Wells Fargo. Our support of Aggie students goes beyond just banking. By supporting News 22, we're giving back to the community. Wells Fargo. Together, we'll go far.
Tonight on News 22.
A conservative writer and speaker's visit to NMSU is becoming quite controversial among campus professors.
News 22's Nolan Fox takes us to the KRUX Fest here on NMSU.
And Melissa Barasa shows us a local organization aimed at helping families in need.
All that and more on News 22 Thursday.
Serving southern New Mexico, this is the award-winning KRWG-TV News 22, where news matters.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Selena Quintana.
And I'm Javier Gutierrez.
A man who's scheduled to speak at the New Mexico State University next week is at the center of controversy in a week before he gets here.
He's been accused of hate speech, and his impending presence has fueled a discussion about freedom of speech. David Horowitz is a conservative writer and founder of the Freedom Center. He also started the organization Students for Academic Freedom to oppose what he believed to be political correctness and leftism orientation in academia. The Southern Poverty Law Center has called him part of a hate group and accused him of racism and being biased against Muslims. That is what causes the controversy wherever he speaks.
I mean, when he's talking, he exudes hate. You can see it in his demeanor. You can see it in his facial expressions. He is, when he's speaking, he is full of hate.
But the idea that there are ideas which shouldn't be mentioned, I think, is very wrong. So free speech means we can talk about anything.
The Students for Academic Freedom is sponsoring the talk. It will be at Gerald Thomas Hall on the NMSU campus Wednesday, May 3rd at 7 p.m.
Businesses here in New Mexico and all along the border are worried about what President Trump will do about NAFTA.
He has said he wants to scrap it, but that may not be a sure thing. President Trump said earlier this week he wanted the U.S. to pull out of NAFTA, but he received phone calls from the Prime Minister of Canada and the President of Mexico, so now he says he'll renegotiate.
But we have to make a deal that's fair for the United States. They understand that. And so I decided rather than terminating NAFTA, which would be a pretty big, shock to the system, we will renegotiate. Now, if I'm unable to make a fair deal, if I'm unable to make a fair deal for the United States, meaning a fair deal for our workers and our companies, I will terminate NAFTA.
Many Republicans and border state representatives on Capitol Hill have expressed concerns about Trump's hard line on NAFTA because it has been a major driver of the economy along the border. And Senator John McCain urged Trump not to pull the U.S. from NAFTA.
What are your specific concerns if Trump should withdraw from NAFTA?
The devastating impact on my state.
Such as?
The devastating impact on my state.
Okay, thank you.
Administration officials say the White House is considering an executive order declaring the intent of the U.S. to withdraw from NAFTA, but Trump could also simply launch the U.S. into renegotiations of the pact.
The president has also released his plan to change the tax system and cut taxes. New Mexico Senator Martin Heinrich is not impressed. Heinrich said through a news release that the plan reads like a wish list for big corporations and his wealthy friends. He says it gives tens of millions of dollars in tax breaks to the richest people in the country instead of helping struggling families to get ahead.
New Mexico Governor Susana Martinez is also taking tax reform and is also being criticized for it. Martinez says she will add comprehensive tax reform to a yet-to-be-announced special session aimed at solving the state's budget crisis. She also wants to eliminate hundreds of tax breaks, including long-standing exemptions for nonprofit organizations. Democrats are criticizing her, saying the special session should only be about the severe budget crisis facing the state. New Mexico Attorney General Hector Balderas is one of 16 attorneys general in urging Congress to reject the rollback of critical protective ozone air quality standards. He says the legislation would mark a major step backwards in efforts to combat pollution and its negative impact on public health. Balderas has also launched an investigation into the cattle industry. He says giant out-of-state corporate farms are hurting family-owned farms and ranches, and he wants to find out why.
So it's been pretty windy these past couple days.
Windy and hot. I wonder if there's any relief in sight. And Jackie is next with our first look at weather.
Spring officially began over a month ago, but the National Weather Service says much of New Mexico can expect a strong dose of winter weather this weekend. Forecasters say a significant late-season winter storm will hit northern New Mexico and central New Mexico late Friday through early Sunday. It will include rain turning to snow Friday night and Saturday morning, with significant snow accumulation expected in northern mountains and across northern eastern New Mexico. We're going to go ahead and take a look at your current conditions now. Right now we're looking at mostly sunny skies with the temperature at 82 degrees. Winds are coming in from the southwest at 14 miles per hour. Our humidity at 23%, our dew point at 32 degrees, and our barometer at 29.52 inches. Today we hit a high of 87 degrees, which is pretty close to our average of 82 degrees after an overnight low of 59. Taking a look at record temperatures, back in 2000 we hit a high of 77, and back in 1984 we hit a low of a very chilly 39 degrees. We didn't have any rain for today, and our yearly rainfall sits at 2.14 inches. That's all I have for your current conditions. I'll be back with your national forecast, but for right now, back to Javi and Selena at the desk.
Hot on the heels of the March for Science, this weekend we'll see a March for Climate in more than 300 U.S. cities. People's climate marches will also take place in New Mexico's 3 major cities, Albuquerque, Santa Fe, and here in Las Cruces. They are intended to bring awareness to the disruption of ecosystems, spreading of diseases, and weather changes. The Las Cruces March is planned to start at 10 a.m. Saturday at Albert Johnson Park near Brannigan Library on Main Street.
With declining enrollment and severe budget crisis, NMSU is doing what it can to get students on campus. Calling All Aggies is a campaign designed to make sure students come back. This year, volunteers have reached out to more than 2,600 students who were enrolled last year but have not enrolled yet for next semester. Calling All Students coordinator Lisa Kirby says the program is designed to boost enrollment.
As is known, retention has been down, and if we could increase and encourage students to register early, then they would more than likely stick around.
The Success Center will be providing trainings for faculty and staff to teach them what to say to convince students to come back.
When you think of people who need help from food banks, you normally don't think of college students.
But many college students do need help now and then, and Melissa Barraza reports organizations that is ready and able.
When times get tough, Casa de Peregrinos emergency food program understands that sometimes you just need a little help.
All we ask for is a picture ID and proof of address. We don't turn anyone away.
For this woman, food pantries are of great help for her mother and disabled brother.
They really don't. I mean, she's limited, Social Security, very small amount of money.
She's grateful these programs are here to help and reach out to the community.
They're really happy. Because sometimes depending on I think the Social Security comes early in the month, and you know, it works really well for them.
And she's also thankful that students get benefits from this mobile pantry.
A great opportunity for the students, you know, because it's local, it's here, they won't have to go somewhere else, so I'm thankful for that.
It's one less thing students worry about.
I don't have to think about groceries next week. I know. A lot. We have a lot. It takes a lot off our mind.
To the grocery store.
Yeah. And budgeting kind of helps us with that.
And Casa de Peregrinos know how grateful students are.
The myth is that students are in need and hungry. Well, that is not true. This has been a blessing to be part of this program. The students are phenomenal. They don't take anything for granted.
Casa de Peregrinos distributes food 3 times a week for anyone who needs help.
It's just a really great program. Helps us think less about food and money and more about school.
Yeah. It makes me really happy too to see that these people are out here doing this for us. So that's really great too.
Melissa Barraza, NEWS22.
You can find more information about Casa de Peregrinos on their website. Crux Fest is an annual event that has been going on for the last 25 years here at New Mexico State. It is run by the student radio station KRUX 91.5. Last weekend, Crux Fest featured performances from local musicians such as Nicholas Roche, Sorrytown, and others. General Manager Austin Martin Likes spoke on what the Crux Fest means to the community.
Means getting to our local musicians, and that's a big part of it. That means that we get to feature really cool bands like Sorry Town, like Priss, like Weird World, like the Modern Echoes, the Red Box. We've had just so many people come out.
The three-day event started at the Corbett Center last Thursday and concluded at the Art Obscura Gallery on Saturday. The profits from Saturday's show went to the artists who performed.
Stay tuned. Jackie will be back to take a look at your national forecast.
And later, News 22's Carlos Pedruza shows us how NMSU students help give back to their community. More on that when News 22 continues.
Hi, I'm Norma Bichot, Program Manager for KRWG. It's a brand new season and host Joseph Rosendo is headed on another journey. The new season of Joseph Rosendo's Travel Scope includes adventures to the Cook Islands in the Pacific, joining a parade of the medieval guilds during Zurich's festival, exploration of the stone figures on Easter Island, and the Amazon rainforest in Peru. Come scale new heights of adventure, natural splendor, and cultural richness this season. The travel adventure begins Sundays at 2 p.m. on KRWG.
Watch MHZ Worldview on Digital Broadcast Channel 22.2. Every day, world news and public affairs, and every night, international dramas, all in English or with English subtitles. Worldview is also available on Comcast Channel 395 in Las Cruces and 399 in Silver City and Spectrum Channel 1271 in El Paso. Become a member anytime at krwg.org.
Welcome back. You're watching News 22 Thursday.
Where news matters. Student organizations here at NMSU spend a lot of their time volunteering for raising money for nonprofit groups.
News 22's Carlos Pedruza shows us how one fundraiser actually helped save lives.
And they're ready for adoption.
Meet King. He was rescued about 2 weeks ago by the Action Programs for Animal Shelter in Las Cruces, better known as APA, a no-kill shelter that rescues, heals, and shelters stray animals till they can find a home. These cuddly creatures rely on community donations to keep this temporary roof over their heads.
Donations. It doesn't matter if it's an open bag. It doesn't matter if it's food that's almost expired. We take every single donation. Anybody can give us medications, anything that, maybe their animal passed away, unfortunately. We take the medications that they no longer need for their animals because we could always use it for our animals here. Anything that helps us kind of offset that cost.
With pet overpopulation and high euthanasia rates being an issue in Las Cruces, keeping shelters like APA up and running is in the community's best interest.
As part of a learning service assignment, students of NMSU put together a soccer tournament in order to raise donations for APA.
The tournament consisted of 10 teams playing 5-on-5 soccer for a chance to win a free dinner at La Cocina restaurant. Entry fees for the teams included 40-pound dog food bags as well as other vital items to help the shelter. Not only was the tournament successful in bringing in donations, it was also a great fun way to spend a Saturday afternoon. Some even suggested making it an annual event.
I'd hope that projects like these could inspire other people in other communities nearby. Maybe we can make this like a self-sustaining thing where they can have an annual soccer tournament. That would be fantastic.
So next time you think you're too small to help make a difference, think of Miracle, Batman, or King, who all sleep in a warm place tonight thanks to the efforts of the caring community. For News 22, Carlos Pedruza.
The U.S. Border Patrol has named a new acting chief, and she's the first woman to lead the agency in its 93-year history. Carla Provost was named chief on Tuesday. The announcement said she's a shining example and is a no-nonsense person who works well with all kinds of diverse groups. She's taking over while the Trump administration is hiring 5,000 agents in the plan to build the Mexico border wall. And Jackie is next with our weather.gov national forecast.
Thanks, guys. We're going to go ahead and take a look at your current conditions. Right now, Seattle's sitting at 54 degrees, Boise 47, Salt Lake City 49, Denver 53, Chicago 53, and Cincinnati at 68 degrees. In our next map, a storm hitting Colorado is what's bringing snow here in New Mexico. Snow tomorrow is expected to cause travel delays, power outages, and reduced visibility. Now, this storm is not only going to hit New Mexico and Colorado, but it's also expected to hit Wyoming. Now, Wyoming and New Mexico aren't expecting too much snow. They're going to be looking at 1 to 3 inches of snow, and Colorado is going to be expecting up to 12 inches of snow. And it's going to be a really chilly couple of days here in these areas. And our next map, thunderstorms are pouring down in the eastern part of the U.S. right now. The Buffalo, Rochester, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh are looking at hail, gusty storms, travel disruptions, and reduced visibility. And that's all I have for your national forecast. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break, but I'll be back with your New Mexico weather.
Hi, I'm Michael Newman, host of New Mexico True Television, a travel series showcasing all the amazing things to do in the land of enchantment. Be sure to watch Saturday afternoons at 12:30 and Sunday nights at 10 on KRWG-TV.
Only on PBS. It's music that makes you move.
The influence of Latin music on rock and roll was seminal.
It's as diverse as America itself.
This is a historic moment. This is a real crossover.
It's Latin Music USA. Friday at 8 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
Coming up on Austin City Limits.
Saturday at 9 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
Welcome back. We're going to go ahead and take a look at your conditions here in New Mexico. Farmington's going to be sitting at 56 degrees, Santa Fe 53, Gallup 62, Albuquerque 67, Clovis 75, Socorro 79, Deming at 81 degrees. Tomorrow we're looking at 50 degrees in Farmington, Santa Fe at 49, Albuquerque 53, Clovis 76, Socorro 69, Ruidoso 62, Roswell 85, and Deming at 80 degrees. Taking a look at cities in your area, Alamogordo is looking at partly cloudy skies with a low of 60 degrees, and tomorrow they're looking at partly sunny skies with a high of 78 degrees. In Truth or Consequences, they're looking at mostly cloudy skies with a low of 58 degrees, and tomorrow they're also looking at partly cloudy skies with a high of 79 degrees. In Silver City, they're looking at partly cloudy skies with a low of 47 degrees, and tomorrow they're looking at partly sunny skies with a high of 66 degrees. And here in Las Cruces, we're looking at partly cloudy skies with a low of 59 degrees, and tomorrow we're looking at windy conditions with a high of 82 degrees. That's all I have for your New Mexico weather. I'll be back later with your 5-day forecast, but for right now, back to Selena and Javi at the desk.
Oil wells in Colorado are closed after a fatal house explosion.
That's the first story in tonight's Southwest Minute.
After a deadly house explosion that occurred weeks ago, the Colorado Oil and Gas Conservation Commission is now inspecting oil and gas wells in the area. The Anadarko Petroleum Corporation is shutting down more than 3,000 wells. The company says the wells will not reopen until new inspections are finished over the next couple weeks. Authorities in Dallas arrested a man yesterday after he threatened police officers. Investigators say Adon Salazar drove to a police station wearing a mask and armed with 2 handguns and several magazines of ammunition. Officers arrested him. He was taken into custody for a mental health evaluation. Police have made an arrest after fires were set inside Trump International Hotel yesterday in Las Vegas. The fires were reported in the women's bathroom, on the pool deck, and in the hallway of the 17th floor. One security officer was injured. Authorities say the suspect faces charges of arson and burglary. I'm Michaela Romero with the Southwest Minute.
So the men's golf team looks like they have a pretty big weekend coming up.
They sure do, and here to tell us more is Blas Maestas with sports.
Thanks, guys. Coming up in sports, Aggie Golf is getting ready for championship play and a play of the day you don't want to miss. You can toss that remote because NEWS22 Sports is next.
he was the Wizard of Odd.
He was part world traveler, part hayseed.
A curious man who made us believe in the unbelievable.
Right here in this auditorium, the most fantastic man that you've ever seen in all your life.
It's inexhaustible, all the weirdness in the world. I think he felt he was barely scratching the surface of it.
Ripley, believe it or not, on American Experience.
Tuesday at 8 p.m. on KRWG TV.
Front and Center is your ticket to a music series like no other. A unique exchange between the music industry's most awarded artists and their beloved fans. This week on Front and Center, rock out with the grandfather of the Jersey Shore sound. Don't miss Front and Center, now in its 7th season.
Saturday at 11 p.m. on KRWG TV.
This is KRWG TV News 22 Sports.
Welcome back. I'm Blas Maestas. You know, being a graduating senior is a lot like being an NFL prospect. You spend hours and hours practicing your skills, all while trying to get general managers to evaluate and approve your talent. So one of them will give you a call saying they want you on their team. Well, unlike myself, Myles Garrett isn't going to have to wait too long for that call. Garrett was selected as the #1 overall pick in tonight's NFL draft. The former Texas A&M Aggie will now be expected to lead the Dog Pound as they will rebuild their team once again. ESPN has confirmed it laid off 100 employees as part of its efforts to expand the company's online reach. Susan Raff has more.
Is giving out 100 pink slips, and some of the names are familiar ones. Ed Werder, Jason Stark, Jay Crawford, Danny Cannell, Jamie Sire, and Chris Hassel.
It's unfortunate. You never want to see someone losing their job. ESPN is a great corporate partner to Bristol.
20 of the 100 layoffs are Connecticut-based jobs. The company hires people from all over the country. In a statement, ESPN's president is saying, "We are constantly evaluating how we best utilize all of our resources, and that sometimes involves difficult decisions. That a limited number of other positions will also be affected, and a handful of new jobs will be posted to fill various needs." ESPN also gets millions in tax incentives from the state as part of the governor's First Five program. In exchange, the company must create 200 jobs, along with capital improvements. We are told the company is fulfilling that agreement. Quinnipiac University's journalism professor says the company is going through a transition. ESPN is the biggest and most powerful entity in the industry, but hundreds of layoffs over the past few years come as more people are changing the way they get sports news.
Both the men's and the women's golf teams are looking to bring back some hardware to Las Cruces. The men will be in Mesa, Arizona this weekend for the Western Athletic Conference Championships. Rayo Herrada, Michael McGilton, Luis Medina, Isaac Mary, and Jack Snyder will be the starting lineup in the tournament. As for the women, they'll be competing in Albuquerque amongst the best in the nation. The Lady Aggies will play in the NCAA Regionals May 8th through the 10th. And tonight's Play of the Day is brought to you by John Wall and the Washington Wizards. Hawks and Wizards Game 5 in Washington. John Wall drives the lane and puts Mike Muscala on a poster. Check out the replay as Wall dominates the lane. Wizards win the Game 5, 103-99. Washington leads the series 3-2, thanks to John Wall's Play of the Day. And that's all for sports tonight. Join us for more sports action tomorrow. Still ahead on News 22, Jackie will be back to take a look at your 5-day forecast. But first, a famous pirate made a special appearance at a theme park last night. Find out who when News 22 returns.
Next time on Call the Midwife.
Nurse Di, welcome to Nanata's house.
Together, we're going to save the borough's teeth.
I must get back to Sister Winifred. She'll be thinking Nurse Franklin has run me out of town.
We must instruct our troops. An innocent is in danger.
Sunday at 7 p.m. on KRWG TV.
We've got some great bakes for you on this masterclass.
Can't wait to get going.
Chop it, mix it up.
You love using your hands, don't you?
Let's get physical.
Who needs a machine when you've got a Paul Hollywood?
Sunday at 3 p.m. on KRWG TV.
Let's take a look at our top stories. A late winter storm is going to be moving into northern New Mexico soon. Melissa Barraza took us to a local food pantry that helps students, and Nolan Fox showed us how students were rocking out at this year's Crux Fest.
When visiting Disneyland, you probably expect to see all the classic characters, but you probably don't expect to see Jack Sparrow, at least not the real Jack Sparrow. But yesterday, lucky park goers came face to face with Johnny Depp at the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. The Hollywood actor was in complete costume and character, staggering down the stairs with a sword. Johnny Depp is likely there to promote the newest installment of the Pirates of the Caribbean movie series, which opens next month.
Jackie, what are these next 5 days looking like?
Well, tomorrow we're looking at pretty windy conditions with a high of 82 degrees. So it's going to be really hot and windy, so I don't think that's a good combination. And we're going to start looking at more sun starting Sunday into Tuesday. So we're going to get to good weather later in the week, but it'll get there.
Sounds like a combination.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Not looking forward to that wind, but
No,
we'll get over it. And that's all for News 22 Thursday. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight.
We'll be back Tuesday with more News 22. Please join us then. I'm Selena Quintana.
I'm Javier Gutierrez.
I'm Jackie Loera.
Good night.
Good night.
This news brief in Español is brought to you by Noticias 22, Spanish language news for southern New Mexico and West Texas. Noticias 22.
Buenas tardes y bienvenidos a este breve informativo de Noticias 22. Les saluda Melissa Barraza. El programa Alto al Crimen está ofreciendo una recompensa a quien aporte información que ayude a identificar a los ocupantes de este vehículo. El sábado 22 de abril, este carro Jetta Volkswagen fue visto en el área donde se encuentra el motel Townhouse. Se recuerda que el sábado por la mañana, Benjamín Montoya, de 21 años, fue baleado a muerte en este motel. La policía arrestó a un sospechoso, pero creen que los ocupantes de este carro tienen más información. El vehículo fue visto por los sheriffs de Doña Ana, que intentaron pararlo, pero huyó a alta velocidad. Dentro del vehículo se encontraba un hombre y una mujer. El vehículo es de color gris oscuro con rines negros y las ventanas polarizadas. Si usted ha visto este Jetta Volkswagen o tiene información, se le pide llamar a la policía y puede permanecer anónimo. La recompensa es de $1,000. El Departamento Fronterizo de Aduanas estadounidense en El Paso otra vez han confiscado cocaína en un puerto internacional. Ayer oficiales detuvieron a un hombre de 34 años de El Paso manejando un auto Dodge en el puerto Paso del Norte. Oficiales inspeccionaron profundamente el auto Dodge Dart y descubrieron más de 35 libras de cocaína con un valor de más de $1 millón. El hombre del auto fue arrestado y enfrenta cargos de intento de importar contrabando y fue entregado a agentes federales. Yo soy Melissa Barraza para Noticias 22.
Local support for a portion of today's programming is provided by